Okay, NXT. Now, before I get started, I have to address some stuff here. To make people who are watching this understand the concept of what I'm talking about here. You already see the title. Wes did do a very good job at the end of the show with his promo. I'm saying it now and I'll describe it and more elaborate on it later. Count if I don't mess it up. But I want to make this clear. When you see this show, did the booking, was it done well? Yeah, for most part it was. Is there interest going into Heatwave? Yes, it is. Is it better than the main roster at this point? Yes, because everything is bland now. SmackDown before SummerSlam was not that great. When you look at this Raw, it was bland. Not much on it. I watched it. It was almost, some of them were repeats. Some of it was actually quite boring. No, it's not some of it. A lot of it was repeat. And some of it was just plain boring with only a few things there that made sense. Very little. And it was not including the bloodline. But let's make this clear right now. If you look at this roster on NXT, you get more interest right now than the main roster. And I want to make this clear. There's still a glaring weakness, and that weakness is the main roster being interjected into NXT, which should have never been treated the way it was. And I know some of the people there are going to be asking, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. Or there's one person that loves WWE. There's one person that keeps leaving comments who loves WWE so damn much. He hates AEW. He hates Impact Wrestling. And he's trying to convince me, you see how great WWE is? They got better booking. They got better wrestlers because they've been trained better. That's stupid. I'm going to say it to you in the comment, saying that they were better trained is stupid. They're all trained the same way. You don't know wrestling. Every person there has been trained generally the same. They do a headlock, they do a takedown, and they do a slam, or they do a power slam, or they do a suplex. All the fundamentals are there. They just add a little bit on top to make them special. But the point of why I'm saying is this. One major problem is that the main roster is being interjected into this show. And it shows. A lot of booking that should not be there is reflecting the main roster. And I already know that they want to make this a third brand when it, and I know there's going to be someone saying, dude, it's never been reported. Of course not. I'm telling you now, the fans saw the original NXT that Triple H created as a third brand. It was a third brand to them, and then like myself who watched it, got annoyed that every time someone was brought up, they got treated like dirt and they got either released, torn down and looked worse afterward, or they're doing absolutely nothing in the back except eating, getting fat, and if they're even thrown on the show, it's brief. That's how it was. When you see this, that's what we got there, and you can see here, there's aspects of that here. Now, is the show bad today? No. There's actually some good build going into Heatwave. I'm not going to say there wasn't. But there are questions here, big ones that show that is not done correctly. And I don't see this as a Triple H booking or as a... it's not Shawn Michaels either. That's a Vince kind of booking. Because you'll see certain people there that shouldn't be there and treated certain ways. Let's start with the tag champions going up against Dyad. Now, let me give it to you like this. Do I love the family? Oh, hell yeah. Stax and the Don are done very well. Admittedly, a lot of their segments of their story have been rushed. As I said before, this shouldn't happen now. Stax, at their last pay-per-view, should have been allowed to win the match and let Tony win his freedom. Not do it earlier than that and then set them up to be able to win the titles now. They should have had that moment where Tony was freed and then going into the next two pay-per-views, at least one or two pay-per-views, next pay-per-view I think would have been better. That's when they could have had the title then, because they should have built up into it, trying to get the title shot. That's what it should have been. Now, Dyad, along with Schism, is still trying to find where the creeds are. and you saw the match, and you saw that two hooded figures, they always do hooded figures, mess with Dyad, and the family won. And even though with all of Schism there, and they all lined up to try and stop Ivy Nile, of all people, you could have just left a few people, they just put everyone there to prevent it. It just shows that the creeds are still there. Why? They're not free agents supposed to be on SmackDown. Why are they keep going back? They're not supposed to be free agents. They're not. They're supposed to have been ejected from NXT permanently, but it's obvious it's them. Eventually they're going to be shown, and what? They're going to be brought back, and they'll be doing double work on SmackDown and NXT when they're not supposed to be doing that because they're not free agents, as far as I know. They're not free. They're supposed to be now set to SmackDown. That's where we saw them, not Raw. So it looks bad. Moving on. Blair Davenport versus Dana Brooks. Someone that I have to say. I'm going to say this. Her booking of this match, fine. They're trying to set something up with her and Jordan where she just hates Jordan because she's been losing. But I want to say this. This would have been better if they built up into it properly instead of rushing it. Because that's what happened here with Dana Brooke. They rushed her. Now, I will give her credit. You can see the aggression being there. She's been way more aggressive. Doesn't mean her ring work is better. It's just the aggression is different. She's not acting normally like she is. So it does translate, and I am very glad that she's done that. If she worked on her ring attire to not look like she normally looks, and she looks totally different, that would even be better. She still looks like Dana Brooke. Now the question will be, due to the fact that Davenport tried to set up the match where she was going to lose by getting her head smashed into the top turnbuckle, which never did happen. I'm just saying this. It's just, what did we really gain here? I don't know. In the long term, I don't know. Because when you look at this situation, when you look at Killa, I always forget her first name. Until I get a person's name, really get it down when I'm used to them, I will get their name. But Jordan just doesn't feel ready for this. It's like she's being rushed into it herself. They rushed Dana Brooke to try and make her into something different. And now they stuck her with Jordan where literally she's not ready either. She's not ready. I don't have any feeling towards Jordan. She's not even developed yet. And they're trying to make something where it looks like you're going to have Dana Brooke turn heel on her and beat the living shit out of her. And then they're going to have a feud between each other, which doesn't feel like it's ready. I'm just saying. Okay. Trick Williams versus Drew Gulak. And his team was around. Let me give it to you like this. I needed to know what Trick Williams is really capable of. And we never knew what Trick can do. He can talk great. He looks great. He talks great. But is he good in a ring? Good enough to really make it mean something. Particularly he's going to be doing something with Dragunov. Honestly, when you look at how Trick Williams works, he has much to be desired. He has the personality. He has the character that people want to watch in the ring. He's got it. But the ring work is not 100% there. Now, I'm going to be honest here. No wrestler, if anyone says there's certain wrestlers just perfect, that's a freaking lie. No wrestler's perfect. And I will never tell you a wrestler's ever perfect when they go in the ring. They're always going to botch one time or another, anytime. If you see my Ric Flair video of my Gump Report, Ric Flair in his last match fell asleep on the damn apron. He had to be woken up by Andrade El Elio to do a damn brass knucks to Jeff Jarrett's face, if I'm remembering correctly. And then he was crazy enough to actually say in a podcast, barely a year and 2 weeks, I think it's 1 week or 2 weeks after it happened. I wonder how people feel about knowing that he wasn't playing like, oh, I gotta make sure that everyone's get this stuff in. No, he fucking fell asleep. So I'm not telling any wrestler's perfect. Trick needs work. His fundamentals to maybe 70% is there, but he needs a little bit more. 30% to get the fundamentals down. For him to get all of his own special moves, he's doing them, but the fundamentals just feel a little sloppy and needs to be worked out. I think if he works the fundamentals more and not worry about trying to do the most tricks, he'll be fine. In the end, he did win, which he has to because he's doing Dragunov. And he had to lose to Drew. Drew had to lose to him. To be honest, I'm saying this truthfully, that it would have been better if Drew beat him, because then it would work better for Thea Hall because of what Thea's been going through. Because seeing that Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak win will entice her to go be with them instead of being with Chase U, which it looks like she's beginning to get tired of and she wants to move on. That's the only reason that Drew shouldn't have lost. But that's what we got. Next, Wesley versus Dijak. Now, this was a good match. But I gotta say this. Seeing that Eddie Thorpe came out to mess with the match, it's understandable because the way Dijak messed with him. Now, I want to say this again. I felt nothing from Eddie Thorpe for months. He didn't show anything of himself being Native American. Not that he has to dress in Native American garb, but he's got to show his freaking character. These two vid packs he had talking about his, now what did he call it? What was it? Bluha. I can't tell you if that's true or not. I don't really know a lot of Native American history and culture. I know that part of my heritage looks like it is Native American, but I didn't grow up with it. I'm a kid who was born in Manhattan and grew up Manhattan in the Bronx. So I didn't grow up a lot with it. But I do know the Great Spirit. I do know the Great Spirit exists. I do know that there's a journey. I do know that all animals, large and small, are our brothers and sisters. That if you give, you must always remember them. If they die and you have to eat them, you got to pray for them. That's how some would do it. And now that he's done that, I feel a little bit more from him. He doesn't have to be in Indian garb to be Indian. You just sometimes have to at least show that you're Indian, that you still follow some of the traditions, that you still follow some of the aspects of Native American belief. Like the Dakota, not Sioux. They don't like to be called Sioux. They like to be called Dakota. Like the Comanche, like the Cherokee, which I'm supposed to be part of. You need to feel that. And finally, I've got something from Thorpe, that when he gets scared or gets angry or frustrated, to cure himself of pain is to dance. Dance to the music, dance to the Great Spirit. And it worked for me. So finally, I'm getting something from him. Will they elaborate more on him? I don't know. Next, the match I liked the most. Joe Coffey versus Tyler Bates. Now, let's make this clear. I didn't like the ending, and I'll explain that in a minute. But the ring work itself was actually quite good. And this is where I'm getting scared. Because when you look at a Joe Coffey and you look at a Tyler Bates, they're not very big guys. They're probably bigger than me. Maybe Tyler's I'm like 5'9", almost 5'8.5", 5'9". He's probably 5'10". Maybe. He's going to be probably taller than me easily. I don't think he's my height. And Joe Coffey's not much bigger either. If they go to the main roster, there's a strong possibility they will be made into managers or do some stupid jokes if Vince got their hands on them. I'm being honest here. We know Vince is still running the show. Even home, after spinal surgery, he's still giving input. So I wouldn't be happy to see either one of them like that. I'd rather see them leave the company. But let's get this done. That it would stop the match because of Daba Kento. Why is he there? They tried once before Daba Kento, and he got his ass handed to him by Axiom and Scripps. Where Scripps now is working with Price and Naman. I believe his name is Naman. And there was no story behind that. They just threw him to become a manager. Doesn't mean he won't wrestle. They just threw him as a manager. Now we get him back. And yes, we got a vid pack talking about him, but showing Apollo Crews What happened to Scripps? What happened to Axiom? They skipped Scripps and Axiom to make him look powerful when he was dealing with Apollo Crews, when he got his ass handed to him by Scripps and Axiom. That shows you that someone said, Dabakento, I want him to be booked strong. And someone said, he just got beat by Scripps and Axiom. We'll make some vid packs trying to show that he's going to get back. No, use Apollo Crews because he's a bigger guy than them. Don't tell me that didn't happen, because they should have shown them. They did. Now, talking about a small guy, the most interesting thing I saw, which was actually booked pretty interesting, the vid pack, and that was the Mustafa Ali bid to become the next North American champion. Because we have a bad Dom as a North American champion. We have a former champion in Wesley who was foolish and couldn't get the job done. I, as your true American, I can become your next North American champion with the damn flags flying behind him. Really? I will say it was well created. I will say that. And it was funny. And I did like it. But this is Mustafa Ali. I want to see someone young and hungry on the roster get more shine than him. And it's about him. Like what's going on with Dana Brooks, where they're pushing her so heavily to start working with someone who's not even ready yet. It's only been shown a couple of months. And they're already going to put into a major storyline that literally she's not ready for. In other words, going to have a feud with a Dana Brooke who's supposedly a badass now, or getting so angry she's going to become a heel. I'm just saying. The Baron Corbin segment with Von Wagner. Now, I am glad that this is happening with Von Wagner. I am glad after what happened last week, or the week before, when he was working with a Braun Breaker, which I'm wondering where they're going to go with Braun Breaker, because it's very interesting to see how badly they're going to make him go like this before they do something with him. Was what Von Wagner said good? It was okay. Because when you see Baron Corbin talking, and he says, I'm just trying to show everybody what's going on, that everyone in the back is fucking soft, and those two came out and Stone said no one's soft. No. I think the reason I botched here is because what we got here is a quick and dirty match. That's what this is. A quick and dirty freaking match, similar to the booking that we do at most part on the main roster when Vince books. Because if you haven't noticed, when Vince books, he books things in extremely short term. If anybody says that this is Triple H booking, no. There's a difference. Triple H does something maybe nearly a year out. Unless someone gets hurt, then he has to change it. Shawn Michaels books halfway in between Vince and Triple H. That's the truth. If you've seen the booking for the last year before things changed, you could tell that Shawn Michaels doesn't do extremely long-term booking. He does booking maybe about 5 or 6 months out. Vince does something almost weekly, and only the people he care about will they get nearly a year's booking, and that's maybe one person. That's been Roman Reigns. And I say this again, on the main roster, they have only one person to care about, Roman. And if you say Cody, then why is he working with Judgment Day again and facing Finn again? This is now the third time with Finn. And it's only about, not Cody, even though he's over, it's about Judgment Day breaking up. If you say that's great booking, that's stupid booking. But you get my point. Now, let's move on to JC James and Thea Hale. This is where I kind of wish that Drew Gulak did not have to job to Trick Williams. This is where I think it should have worked. Where he won that match in the beginning, and then he would come out with Dempsey, he comes out with Kemp, and he comes out with the extra. And I don't remember his name. I think it's Brock. But he comes out and he sees Thea, who lost, and it's not due to her, it's due to chase you. That's what it looks like. That's what it should be. And JC James, who realized the buckle was loose due to the fact of what happened at Blair Davenport before that, she tried to set up a Thea Hale. She tried to set Thea to get smashed in the face. And I want to say this, if you compare the two, who is the better wrestler? I'm going to be honest here. Thea is only about 19, about to turn 20, if she hasn't turned 20 yet. Well, I think she's just turned 19. I think so. I think. At this point, between her and JC James, she's a better wrestler at this point. I'm not saying she's great, but you can see the difference between James here and Thea here. She's just slightly better. And I'm telling you, when you see James, she just doesn't 100% have it. She feels more of a manager than she feels like a wrestler. That's what I keep seeing from her. She gives off the feeling of a manager that is wrestling, that should be a manager and wrestle once in a while. Then you look at Thea Hale, who is a wrestler. She just gives off that wrestler feel. In the end, Chase tried to keep her from getting her face smashed in because he picked up the turnbuckle. He got up on the ring skirt, holding it, and she's going, "What are you doing?" And he's saying, "I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to save this buckle." And it cost her the match. And she's just flat out mad even more. And Duke Hudson didn't help either, especially with that original segment before the match happened where he was for her, trying to understand about Chase, but then he turned and pivoted to try and make himself look good in front of her by going against Chase. So he's going back and forth. I think he really wants Chase U for himself. He's just trying to screw over Andre eventually, passive aggressively. That's just me. Final part of the show, which is the best part. And that is what happened between Mello and Wesley. Because Wes won, as I said. He got the contract. He goes out because most of the night, Mello's just signing autographs. That's, honestly, that actually happens. You got really good wrestlers have to sign autographs. Sometimes they do it while the show is going on before they go out and do a meet and greet. They actually do that, as you guys probably already know. So, in this case, they're just doing it for real. He's actually signing it while they're doing the segments. So, when it comes down to this situation, Wes made it very clear, "I'm going to win that match against Dijak, and I'm going up against your ass." And he said, "If you can win it, you win it, brother. Go on." But he made it very clear, "You better pay attention to me." So he won. He came back to him. He said, "I got the thing. You got to sign it." He says, "When I get a chance, I'll sign it." Basically, that's what he's saying. He's got other stuff to do, but he'll sign it. You'll see him tomorrow. Nope. He drops the table that they were having. Well, let me take this back. Mello's table. He knocked that damn sucker down, dragged it out to the ring, put it into the ring, and said simply, "Let's go. Get your ass in here. You got one more thing to sign." And he made it very clear to Mello, very clear, that I am not going to leave you. I am going straight at you. And nothing is going to change how I feel right now. I'm going to make all those naysayers eat their words, because every time when they say I can't, I'm going to do it. And particularly when he said he was in the military and his superiors saw what he was doing, they said, "What are you doing?" It wasn't that he was trying to wrestle. He said, "You can't. You're too damn small." So when he did say, when he was grinding on the independents, in other words, Impact Wrestling, where I saw Desmond Xavier before he became a rascal, before he left and went and became what he is now, as Wes Lee. I'm telling you here, that segment that he did, and Mello did a great part. He agreed with him. He tried to say you can't, just to screw with him. And I'll give you like this. I did like it when Mello signed, after he signed, and you saw that Wesley jumped onto the table and broke it, which shows you how easy to break those damn tables in half. Now you know how easy it is to break those damn tables in half. They're designed to break. And he just jumped in the middle and just broke that bitch. he made it very clear how determined he was. I think this was one of the best promos I've seen him do yet. Now, everyone's going to agree. A lot of people just don't like Wesley because he is an aerialist. And I can understand. Not everyone likes an aerialist or a high-flying wrestler. But you cannot deny that he has done pretty damn well for himself. The question is going to be, are they going to go through what they're going to be going through with and give him a fair shot at looking good while trying to get that damn title? To make him mean something. It's not about if he wins it. It's about how he looks while he's trying to win it. And what will happen afterward. Will they make him prominent in the main title scene? Because there's very few people that Carmelo Hayes mess with. I want to see a Wes Lee be in that category where he'll have more better storylines, more better feuds than the North American tier types of feuds he gets them up here. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if that's going to happen though. I don't even know what's going to happen with Carmelo. He may job out next week or may not. I don't think he will. But the point is, will they book Wes good after this? I don't know. You guys leave me a comment below and I hope you enjoy this. Please give me a comment. And I do have my recording of, well, how can I say this? I do have the Vince McMahon video. I have not edited it yet. I'm probably going to upload it at the end of the week. And I'm going to see if I can record at least one or two more. I got some stuff to do, but I want to see if I can record at least one more or two more for the week afterward. I am trying to get back and doing Gump reports. It's been very hectic for a while now, and it's been hard to do, but this is what I want to do. Actually, I'm going to upload this immediately without any images. I want to just get it up there so you guys can see it. I hope you enjoy it. Peace.